It's 3:24 on the 15th of November. Is it the 15th? Excuse me, I'm 3 days ahead of myself. The 12th of November. And following on from my upload earlier with regard to the fraud and failings and fraud that has been occurring, and the false reporting in the midst of it all, I'm obligated for my own safety. Seems that the government officials that are aware of the creative intellectual property theft I'm experiencing haven't chosen to do what they're supposed to do in my circumstances. Now, as an artist, as a humanitarian, as a woman that has introduced legislation that is subject to fraud, that's in 2019, as a property owner of 600 acres, as a mother to a child without his mom due to unlawful actions and unlawful care orders, and a husband that's missing, and all of these matters occurring, I am obligated to upload onto my little documentary Sad Sign of the Times. So it's just reflecting, I suppose, to the world the unsafe nature in the southwest of Ireland when there are people stealing farms from me. My child illegally from my care, my husband a missing person, and here I am, I have to upload onto a documentary because of people not doing what they're supposed to be doing, but yet enjoying the fruits of my labour. So they're living off my work, as I keep reiterating, and they have the audacity, after ignoring procedures and processes and statements, they have the audacity after 5 years to even beg the question or query, prove what you're speaking of with regard to this matter. They've compromised and conducted awful wrongdoings and presented false information. It's very dangerous to disrespect a spiritual status. I have a spiritual status, and that is what brought about COVID. So that's quite dangerous to be disrespecting or disputing or disparaging in any way. So that's what's happening in the midst of the impoverishment I'm experiencing while there are people on my farms out in Tubred and Kilflynn. So that's really unsafe for people to be disrespecting any faith, religion or spirituality. It's quite unsafe that, I have to expose or discuss my personal life to safeguard my life because of the lies and the slander from this community making people's lives unsafe. I'm not expecting people to facilitate wrongdoings, but that has happened. I hadn't anticipated that. So I had to do my documentary Sad Sign of the Times because of people that have been rude, intruding and stepping over lines and trespassing into my homes. So it's quite unsafe. I'm aware that there have been people thinking that this is a situation that they're going to be negotiating and bargaining, but unfortunately you can't negotiate or bargain a spiritual identity or a spiritual status. We know the story of God and Satan, and we know the story of Muhammad. And there's a beautiful piece of work out there, Nathan Dervisa, Nathan the Wise One, speaking of how we all have different concepts of our higher power, but we just have a different name for each of them, or whichever one we choose. So in this instance, my spiritual status is being disrespected by people that are being rude, and they haven't just broken the laws of the Constitution. They've imposed upon the rights of an adult where they have no right to be there. Kerry University hospital practitioners that I have documentation from that highlights their ineptitude and incompetence. There are Kerry University hospital attendants in this community that have done damage to health and wealth. So that's quite disrespectful to COVID, that originated from my work. So that's offensive to medicine. And I'm not offending medicine. But if medicine is being offended by people that are disrespecting that field, then I hope they know how dangerous it is to disrespect the progress that I initiated that brought about strides in medicine. So people that can't be professional and that have been foul-mouthed, I'm aware that people have been really foul-mouthed. As I've said, they're on a foul card already. They've been of blasphemy of faith and family. They have disrespected and damaged. Now, anyone with any sense would know that you can only dig your hole so deep before you just get swallowed. Do you know what I mean? So people aren't respecting the reality of this circumstance, and the people in my proximity that are being foul-mouthed are giving a really poor representation to the politic that they represent, that they shouldn't obviously be vocalizing in aid of or in respect of or on behalf of, when they have been failing and foul-mouthed or falsifying the reality. So people that are disrespecting my work with COVID and NEFIT, those kind of things aren't renegotiated. Legislation has entitlements with it. The government has to provide its entitlements to me for the legislation that it's benefiting and living from as a consequence of me. And as for my land, that's a very dangerous issue when there's a child and father missing and a mother being impoverished. So I just hope there isn't anybody being naive about people that aren't qualified to be, in any way prospering from my 2 decades of good work in society.